Antonio Serrano here, and today I have a magical character video just for you. I am standing up because I feel more like it to it. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite singers of all time. I would say that my number two favorite singer, male singer of all time. I will talk about my number one in a future magical character video, but for now we are going to talk about Frank Sinatra. I think there is very little... I am out of breath. Yeah, I have to crawl under the earth and appear right here, so I have no... Okay, so yeah, Frank Sinatra. I think that we need no introduction for this master of acting and singing, so without further ado, let's get started with tips that we can apply for magicians learning from this master, as it is Frank Sinatra. I didn't mind. That's why I do magic. Okay, one of the first things that we can learn from Frank Sinatra is choosing your material. I think it's quite difficult to find in show business a celebrity with such a brilliant and outstanding list of songs, covers, versions of different songs, even films, movies that he appeared in. So it is great how well he chose his material, like this song I'm going to make it, this is a song for me, this is a song from another artist that I'm going to make a version, my version of that song. And I think that a lot of the times magicians, we fail choosing and adapting our material, right? It's like we see another magician perform a trick and we are like, is that trick for sale? Yeah, I'm going to buy that trick and I'm going to do it exactly the same. That's a big mistake, because I'm a big advocate of performing anything that you want to perform. But a lot of people say, I'm not going to perform this trick because it doesn't suit my character. What I think, my opinion in this matter is the one from Bob Hayden. Bob Hayden says, it's not a matter of I would never do that because my character would never do that. It's a matter of what must happen for my character to do this. In which situation must my character be to perform this kind of trick, this kind of routine, right? And this way your imagination expands, because it is not my character, it's not like two-dimensional and only does this stuff. No, my character can do anything if you place the character in the correct situation. So that's what we magicians should do. Like, I want to do this trick, but how can I do this trick to fit my character? Right? And this is exactly 100% what happens with Frank Sinatra. He knows exactly how to choose his material and how to make the material appropriate for him. And it is great. So first thing that we can learn, and basically if we only learn this thing and we apply it correctly, we are on our way, yeah, to be quite better performers. Okay, I have said this about many magical characters in previous videos, but I think that Frank Sinatra is a very interesting example of finding your character. Most of the times when I've talked about finding your character, I've talked about actors or comedians. But in this case, it is a singer, and it is a singer that was 100% a character. It doesn't matter the song that he was singing. It was a Frank Sinatra song, and his character was like, I don't know, I would say like a really manly person, but with such a finesse, like kind of cheeky guy, a little bit flirty at times, right? Looking like quite simple, but at the same time quite profound and deep in his thoughts. And it doesn't matter if he's singing to you a Christmas carol. By the way, his version of Let It Snow is one of my favorite Christmas carols ever. If you listen to Let It Snow, it suddenly stops being a Christmas carol about snowing or stuff like that. It becomes a love song, because it's the way he sings and the rhythm that he gets to, right? I've read in some articles and some interviews that for him, songs and singing should only come from conversation. It should look like I am talking with someone or I am talking with the audience, but it should be like a conversation. So that that's his character, and the hat, the suits, the way he looked at the camera, his face, like he's singing something extremely difficult, but his face is telling you otherwise. His face is telling you like, I just want to say this to you. So Finding a character comes right after the first tip that we learned about choosing material. It's very difficult to choose material and adapt the material if you don't have the character. And most of the times we say, well, it's very difficult to have a character being a magician because you can do very different things and very unrelated things. That's your job. Your job is to make those unrelated things relate to themselves and have some kind of cohesion. For me, from my point of view, I think that it is much more difficult to make songs cohesive, and even songs from different styles, mixing like jazz and blues and pop music that was starting by the time, is much more difficult to make cohesive and make sense for the same character. All those different songs written by different guys with different genres of music. So if Frank Sinatra could do it with such a melange of influences, artistic influences, you can do it with your little silly tricks. Am I right? Okay guys, I love this next tip, and it is a tip that I even didn't think that I was going to use it, but I read it in Wikipedia that one of his voice coaches, or a person that studied his voice and how he sang and stuff like that, he said that the biggest thing that we can highlight from Frank Sinatra singing and his voice is not how he sang. His voice was very good. He had like a perfect pitch. A lot of singers, I think that Michael Jackson had a perfect pitch, and obviously Mozart, for example, had perfect pitch. But this guy that studied his voice and his singing said that the most important thing that we should highlight from Frank Sinatra is the meaning behind everything that he's singing, right? How he wants to portray a certain emotion. He's telling you something, right? He's telling you something, and he is in the moment. And the main reason why he highlights this is because he says, when you learn a song by heart, it doesn't matter how difficult the song is, you can sing it more or less with perfect pitch, without missing a single note, without even thinking about it. It doesn't matter. You can sing like the most difficult song ever, that if you are good at singing and if you know the song by heart, you can sing the song thinking about another thing, and you are completely in tune, and you are not out of rhythm, and you are singing the song. But it is impossible to sing a song with meaning, with intent, wanting to have like a message put across without thinking about it. That's impossible. And I found this information quite interesting. It is impossible to sing a song creating an emotion and making sure that you want this message to get across without being there, present in the moment. And I think this is wonderful, and I think that this is something that can very much be related to magic. It is possible, it is perfectly possible to do a magic trick perfectly. It doesn't matter how difficult the sleight or the skills that you need to do the trick are. It doesn't matter how difficult the trick is. You can do a trick perfectly without thinking if you haven't done. In most books, they say to you, you should practice a trick until you can do it without thinking. So that's something that is possible. Same thing as singing, according to this guy. Same thing. But doing a trick, telling something to the audience, and wanting a reaction from the audience, and trying to get a message across is impossible if you are not there, right? It's impossible. And that's the reason why most comedians have a hard time when they try comedy for the first time, because they think about comedy the same way that we think about magic tricks or singing. They want to memorize a joke, they want to memorize the timing, they want to memorize everything, but if there is no meaning, you have no joke. Because people really should believe and should feel that you are portraying something, that you are saying something to them. And this is something that Frank Sinatra did masterfully. Every time that he was singing, every time that he was acting, you could feel in his body, the gesture, the face, the eyes, you could feel that he was there, he was present, he was trying to convey the specific emotions that he wanted to put across. And this is great. I love listening interviews from guys that perform a lot, like Penn and Teller, McKean, Lance Burton, talking about their tricks to not going into autopilot. Like I am doing the show, I've done this like 11 times, 20 times this week. I don't care anymore, like this, okay, great, another show, I'm getting paid, I'm out of here. So I love ways to make sure that you are doing something interesting and you are making something in that moment that is appealing for the audience. And I think that one of the best tricks for that is making sure that if you are not there with the audience in the moment, the meaning, the thing that you want to get across, to put across to the audience, is going to be completely lost. And if any one of you is thinking, but I have no meaning that I want to put across, I just do crazy things, magical things, and that's the end of my show. Well, you have to think about some message, some things that you want to put across, because that's the difference between art and simply a beautiful thing, right? I don't know, a furniture, a table could be a beautiful thing, but it could not be art because it's not giving some kind of message to you. So that's one of the most important things you have to do. Have a meaning in everything that you do, and then be in the moment to make sure that that meaning is reaching the audience. It's beautiful. Okay, and the very last tip that we are going to learn from this master, as it is Frank Sinatra, I think that very few artists can have this tip applied to them as good as it applies to Frank Sinatra, as it is. If you cannot be the first, be the best. It's as simple as that. If you cannot be the first doing something, be the best. In other magical characters, I talk about the opposite. I talk about if you cannot be the best, be the first, right? Because if you are the first one to do something, you are going to be the best, simply because there is no competitors around, right? So in this case, Frank Sinatra, with a lot of his songs, not most, but with a lot of his songs, he wasn't the first person singing that song, right? He was doing versions, he was doing covers of other songs. And it wasn't a problem for him. Why? Because most people prefer his versions. It was like, oh my God, I heard this version from this guy, but I love Frank Sinatra's version. I'm going to have that CD simply because I love the song, and this guy's version of the song is my favorite one. So he may not be the first to do something, even the melange of pop and jazz and all the stuff. He may not be the first, right? But he was the best. For me, he was one of the best, taking songs from other people, and as we mentioned before, putting together his character, his meaning, his idea behind how every phrase should have a different meaning and a different emotion attached to it. When you put all those things together, it's quite difficult to argue that that version is not the best version of that song that you ever heard of. So guys, I think that's everything that we can learn from this master, as it is Frank Sinatra. If you are not a very big Sinatra fan, I advise you to listen to his songs because it is great, right? I love the stories attached to Mike Caveney's coffee juggling routine, and he uses a song by Frank Sinatra, the Coffee Song, and it is great. I didn't know the song until I saw a video of Caveney's trick performing live. I think it was even in Spain. He was speaking a little bit of Spanish. So I think it is great to have those influences. If you love an artist, if you love a singer and you want to be like them, if you want to learn something from them, try to put them in the show. Maybe in a more indirect way, like learning from them and taking those beats, or maybe in a more direct way, taking just one of their songs and jamming it in there. And the Coffee Song fits like a glove into that routine. So guys, that's everything for today's video. Please subscribe, please comment, and I will see you, as always, in a near future.